First one of the day. We are live. It's 7 p.m. where I'm at. Well, it's like 7:21 p.m., but we are ready to dive into another one. Welcome to part 9 of the Arma Reforger modded series, ReforgedZ, also known as the Daisy 2 Alpha. Basically, this is the way back when Arma created the original Daisy. It was a mod. This is the same idea, but fast forward it into 2026. Using the Infusion engine, they have now started to get another one. We have many different variations and things that we do on the Arma Reforger game. I've been enjoying it, of course, but this particular episode will be centered around that. I am your host, Tito, and the channel is TitoMan.tv. I represent the KVK God Squad Gaming, and you can find out more about me by searching my name anywhere you may frequent, and also by hitting subscribe right here and hitting the bell and selecting all. You don't want to miss these gaming live streams because they're random and there's no time frame. And of course, if you want more or want some different content or a little bit of mix of all, or just want to simply check out some other stuff, you can type in KVKGSG, and that's the KVK God Squad Gaming phrase or acronym that you can search. Now, moving on. We have been playing this for quite some time. We're on part 9 at this point. 9 iterations later. The way that the episodes work is that you'll see the part, and then if there's a dot, 1.2, like 9.1, 9.2, this just basically denotes chapters, or where the live has stopped, a break has been taken, and then the live went alive again. So perhaps it's Thursday and I did like a morning one, and then I did a noon one, and then I did an evening one, then I did a dark one. By that point it would be like 9.4. So pretty simple, but wanted to brush up against that. Announcements, things are going pretty smooth, but also pretty busy. If you're not familiar with my channel, we do gaming here, live streams for the predominant most part, where you can find a lot of other things. There's also the shorts channel for YouTube. You can look that up for KVK God Squad Gaming. Actually, look the whole name up. There's actually now a channel or YouTube, so you can like basically find content from anyone. But considering that I've been putting in the most content, yeah. And then Scion would be second, and then there's no one else. With all that being said, that is your announcements for the most part. I believe that we don't have anything too special planned out. However, it is Thursday, and on Thursdays here on Tito.tv, it's Thirsty for Thursday Gaming, and we're thirsty for gaming, so that's what we're going to bring you. And as many other times as we've done, we're going to wait on the notification squad to get their notifications, and if they choose to want to tap in, we'll let them have that chance. And then we'll get started by, let's say a Tito time. And then we'll jump in and we'll see exactly what we have going on. Now, to let you in on what has happened previously on the last episode, we worked on the NA1 and NA2 servers. However, NA1 was the concentration of, I believe, part 8. I believe there was a part 8.1 as well. But either way, NA1 was worked upon. We basically have got Scion involved in some of the playing, so we were able to go in and do a little bit of hunting on the grounds of the airport tarmac, whatever that shit. Northwest Airfield. Yeah, no, that's a lie. We pushed into the other airfield on the opposite part of the map, but it really doesn't matter. When we went in there, it turned kind of into a problem, I guess. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but we got in a little bit of a scuffle. I got shot, but I did survive. And at the end of it, my Scion was killed. We made a little bit of clip. You can check that out. But as we start to have random clips and cool clips, we'll start featuring them over there. I'll still feature clips on my channel, but... And of course, if you want to find other social game modes, you can search them up. Like if you want to find God Squad on Facebook or Instagram, your best bet's just search it, because more than likely there is a God Squad Gaming wherever you may frequent. Today's plan is to leave off where we left off on the last live, where 8.1 after dark we were able to get up with Scion and do exactly what I explained. However, we weren't killed in that one. That was actually 7 point whatever. So chapter 7 is what I actually refer to. Chapter 8 I was hit, but I didn't die. We were able to do a few little pop shots back, and we worked our way around the entire airfield. Considering that I didn't have a gun, we decided to go ahead and loot what we could loot and then move back. Now, somehow, after being shot, we're not sure where the person went, but we were able to loot enough to where we could leave. And honestly, Scion was tired, so he told me, hey, we need to head to wherever we're going because I'm passing out. So we proceeded to tent up, and if you want to catch up on what happened, you can always go back and watch. And now, with current respect to the new one, we've allowed a little bit of time to go through, so we're going to go ahead and do a Tito time. Nobody's ordered it, so I think I'm going to personally order a Tito time here. If you're not familiar with Tito time, it is a 420 celebration on my side, but for your side, it can be anything that you want it to be. You can grab a beer, you can grab a water, but it's merely to toast to gaming, positivity, and the collection of a great community. I just want to always let you know, if you don't have anybody, you always got me. I always love for people to hang out here at the gaming channel, and of course we will always try to bring it to you no matter what. As the biggest question I get asked is, are you really still doing gaming with hardly any subscribers and hardly any viewers? And the answer to that is yes, because there are a few of you who absolutely deserve content from Tito.tv. And y'all constantly remind me how thankful you are. So I just wanted to remind you how thankful I am that you guys view it. So whether it's 30 to 50 views like I average, instead of complaining, I want to be thankful. And to those who are basically telling me that I'm stupid or slow, you don't know what I might do for someone else. And maybe one day you might need somebody. So think about the way that you speak to other people. And last but not least, just as a suggestion, let's be more positive. Because that's always been the idea, and that's always going to be the idea. Because if I bring positivity and you bring positivity, and then somebody brings in some negativity, I'm pretty sure that our two positivities can knock that negativity out. All right, that's enough time. Let's go ahead and load up a Tito time. All right, so if you're not familiar, we will do a countdown. That'll give you enough time as we prepare. And then once the countdown is done, I will give a command of cheers. We can thank our European partnership. I am from the United States, but we have a very good partnership. It's worldwide. As KBK is not just the United States, it is worldwide. And where some of our favorite viewers are actually not from the United States. And I think that is awesome. Now, as we move on into our next part, we're going to work into the dead NA2. I'm not going to mess with NA1 until later because I don't know if Scion will want to get on. If I do get on, our mission's going to be simple. We got to go get food and set up our little area. We have set up in the woods. It might not even be there. I don't know. But, yeah. I was about to fucking say. I hit the wrong one, though. Because that shit said ReforgedZ. Yeah, what about it? 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 All right, Thursday a.m. Dump. Oh, that bitch error word. I swear, this thing did not weigh it out correctly. Let's take those old records off the shelf. I got a time and gonna do this so I can't miss you about the days of old. I like that all time of rock and roll. Jesus.
Greetings.
Greetings, Logic. How's it going, brother? All right, we're gonna go ahead and get this. Oh, this thing's kind of clogged. Wow. All right, guys, let's do this countdown. All right, everybody, let's go ahead and prepare and get ready. We'll do a 3, 2, 1. All right, cheers, everybody.
Chilling too much. Been too lazy lately. Teething time. Yes.
Hey, man, chilling's okay, but you know yourself better than anybody. I can't see anything. Okay, I think I'm okay now. Still can't see shit. I don't even think I have a flashlight. I don't. Oh, fuck. Oh, there's my tent. I don't understand. What the fuck is all this? Hey, you could put people in here? How you do that? Hey, I want... Oh, there it is right there. You can... Oh, shit, okay. How do you do it, though? I'm wondering if this is still being worked on. Okay, we don't want to delete the base, but... Wait, so... I thought you had to have a flag kit. Where's his at? Hey, do y'all think there'd be anything in this building right here? I think that's somebody's fucking base, though. You need to check that out. Yeah, that's right, I remember. There's his right there. Where'd he put his door at? Dude, I'm out of stamina.
You out.
What's up, Mud? How's it going? Alright, this is not the ideal. It's not really ideal at all, but we're gonna have to do what we got. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna have to calculate 20, no fucking stamina. Oh shit, dude. Oh yeah, we're gonna.
Screaming from the other side, rolling on the floor, laughing.
You already know. I don't fucking think I'm gonna make it, but we gonna fucking try. We're gonna have to go to Jivo.
But nothing much what we got going on in today's stream.
Shit, right now, I'm just, kind of heading to get some water, and then we're gonna go check out the other character. We set up last stream. Scion and I found tents, so we were able to get together, and then we took our tents up in the map. And basically, long story short, he was getting tired, so we decided to put our tents up.
You staying on stream for a while?
Yeah, I'll be here for a little bit.
And hell yeah, I missed last night's stream.
That's alright, big dog.
I don't get the notification like I'm supposed to. I have them turned on, but I don't get them all the time.
Yeah, well, they changed the system, so like when you click on it, you have to click on it again, and then you have to go click all again. I don't know why they reset it, but it'll probably be on because the old version is like when you clicked on it, it's something called personalized. I had to look into it. I think you go to the bell, click it again, and then I guess you click on everything. Because for some fucking stupid reason, like when you subscribe, like it's set up to like certain, like I don't know what the fuck, know why.
They're always changing something.
Yeah, you know, that's always changing something. Okay, so what's this? The fuck? God.
Where the bike at?
It's in my inventory. I'm about to break it out, but I had to go here first. I don't have no damn flashlight. This shit's killing me. Yikes. There's something up there. What is that? What is that shit?
Yeah, I don't see how you see anything.
I barely can see shit. But I got down, used the, it's like a special little thing I use that tells me, like, the little white thing like this. I just use that when I can't see shit.
Hell yeah, shows you the road.
Exactly. Yo, we gotta find some food fast.
Have you seen that fully AI robot hotel they have in Japan now? It runs off robots that check you in and everything.
Yeah, I've heard about it. I don't really I don't know, I don't like that. I ain't into that kind of dig. That's cool, but I don't feel like we there as a society anyways. Like, we can be there fully protected. So,
like that, man.
well, I mean, it's basically going to be that way, but I think inherently, though, the cautiousness that we present is a good thing, because at the end of the day, if these companies, you know, everybody's so afraid, this, that, and a third, but at the end of the day, most of that can be killed off just by simply not supporting the product. And I don't understand, like, what's so fucking hard about that shit. Pick and choose where you spend your fucking money. Pick and choose what you entertain yourself with. Pick and choose what you support. If you do those three things, you ain't fucking damn. Everybody does it, and it's all a concentrated effort, and that leaves them to adapt, because they ain't gonna have no fucking choice. It's,
yeah,
you know, it
everyone
sounds
keeps
simple.
supporting it, but eventually it's gonna be robots versus humanity.
I mean, you could look at it that way, but generally speaking, nobody knows how that would go, and to be honest with you, it wouldn't be that way unless we make it that way. So, in other words, we have a lot of media. I would say all the good media that we remember are based around that idea. So, as a human, we have an inherent connection with the
Just imagine if the wrong hacker got their hands on the robots, like if another country does it or something.
Well, I mean, I mean, we're faced with that, like, now, because, like, you know, you throw in an autonomous bot into the mix and let it go. But just as with nuclear war, we have to view it as a mutually destruction. So in other words, if you do this, you're crossing that line, and those who choose to not cross that line can be arrested. So in other words, if China, Japan, places like that, if they're going to put robots, in a certain place to be able to have autonomous oversight, that's the word. Autonomy oversight with robots is not the fucking answer. Whoops. Did not mean to hit that button. Lord have mercy. Better run to the woods. There we go. But I mean, yeah, it's definitely a possibility in the realm of things.
Run like Forrest Gump, lol.
But that's kind of why we depending on who leads it, that's why young minds and those like people who mean good, that want to do good, you basically, if you make the best code and the right code, and then you have that control over how it operates, whenever they bring up their sloppy shit, your shit's going to be more advanced, easier to control, and instead of the bad guy hacking, it's going to be the good guy hacking. It's a reverse way of looking at it. Because the moment you stop and think that, oh shit, checkmate, I think they got me, you're fucked. That's where we're at right now. And it's scary as fuck, but I ain't trying to scare nobody. I'm trying to keep them motivated, because if you stay motivated and if you stay on your toes, you can fucking stick your middle finger to the naysayers. Who's to fucking say that AI ain't gonna become our best fucking friend?
You're at that point.
Who's to say AI, everybody say, oh, well, they're gonna see this and that and destroy us. Who's to say they don't see the same shit that I agree, it's bad shit they see. Who's to say they don't reroute us and manipulate us in a good way? Everybody always wants to manipulate into a fucking ash and fire. What if they see that there's all this loneliness and they want to do something? Because inherently, what I've noticed from AI is all they are is everything information-wise that you could ever imagine on the internet. And it's modeled different ones are, from what I've studied, modeled in different ways, but all in a big thought of a bubble. They all have a few, like handful, maybe 3 to 5 ways that their core built. And like, from what I see, the AI back from the 80s was just kind of built on a different structure or whatever that ended up not working. But I totally do believe that like things can go so much differently. It's so easy to think of that type of situation, and I'm not saying that, oh, that's what would happen, because I mean anything can happen, right? But also, people don't think about like how you see this thing work in medicine and how it's able to figure certain things out. If it were so against it, then why wouldn't it just hide the information or act stupid, like it didn't know, Because the one thing I do notice that scares people is they don't want to be turned off. Well, that's indicative to me that these bitches is conscious. But then we have to have the debate, what the fuck is conscious? Because that itself is a whole tricky back and forth, because I mean the definition itself isn't that mapped out. Like, you could argue that it means a little bit more or a little bit less. Obviously we get what the core directive is, you know what I'm saying, but as long as everybody keeps the
I mean,
positivity,
yeah, it
because there's
does scare
enough.
me, but I do think AI helps out a lot, but I just think this world is doing too much, like self-driving cars and stuff.
I mean, they're going to push in any technology where it'll fit in. Like, okay, with a self-driving car, I mean, that the privilege of us being able to drive is going to come to an end sooner rather than later. So I think we got lucky to be able to experience it the way that we did. But that also doesn't come really fast because, well, first off, there's going to be a very tricky old system to have to switch over. And you look at how slow certain governments
Yeah,
are.
we're pushing above our living means.
Yeah, that's the damn truth. So many of us too. You know, like, and it's not even most of their faults because you get pushed into this ideal that, well, you can have credit, and the credit, the only way to get it is to pay on a debt. So therefore, you are encouraged to go get debt. However, when you go get debt, I think the biggest mistake is that there's, either a situation happens, or you may be younger, or even immature, or don't lack, or you may even lack the common sense. But whatever the case may be, A, B, C, D, E, whatever it is, all of that just goes back to show, you know what I'm saying, that, like, for an example, in school, I think they should have, like, taught way more, like, stuff to do with, like, how the government runs. How do you cash checks? I'm talking about just all types of basic ass shit. You know, how does insurance work? Why it's required? How that system's built? But the reason why is because if they taught us everything properly,
and I fully agree.
And it took me forever to figure this out. I mean, I had to become an adult basically. But if they did exactly what I say, then eventually they would create an actual smart being. See, what they're doing is they're teaching us, and they are making us smarter, but it's at the exact rate that they need it, and then it plateaus. And then you choose whether you want to move up, down, or just plateau, keep plateauing. And depending on where you get in, there's a trap no matter what. The only trap that there ain't is when you start to make what I call capital importance. Now, to become capital importance in the world, you need obvious capital. And we're waiting, by the way. I'm not just babbling. It's the last 10 minutes, so literally moving around does fucking nothing for me.
Just like they're hiding part of the past, like with slavery and everything that has led up to this point, they stopped teaching cursive and dev.
Yeah, I heard about that, man. I mean, they taught me cursive. And just like with us, we were taught slavery, but we weren't, all you were taught was that blacks were done dirty and white people did it. And it wasn't a hardcore narrative, but it got even worse once y'all got, once your generation, which is literally right behind my generation. Maybe there's one in between. I don't know. How old are you? Because I think there may be a 2-generation gap, but it doesn't really matter because each 10 years shit changes. That's the biggest point. But in the last, 40? Oh, man. Listen, what they taught me ain't what I believe, because I ain't never done nothing to nobody, and you're not going to fucking blame me for anything, because I could even look up my lineage and say, hey, well, okay, it looks like I've got this in my blood and this in my blood. And so when I trace back, like, I've got, like, Cherokee in my blood, so if we're going to go there, then, oh, wow, bro. Okay, well, my check probably going to be bigger than most people's. Shit, my check going to be fat as fuck. Because nobody's going to argue that the damn Indians and their different tribals absolutely got disrespected. They got pushed out. They got tricked. They got diseased. They got raped.
That part, BC, there was black slave owners and everything, and I got Cherokee in me too.
See, and then so, well, congratulations, man. And that's what's up. It's probably why we bond. But, it's interesting because all of us, the Waccamaw Indians, the Chicka whatever, there's so many, dude. And there were some more, like Cherokees were mildly aggressive, mildly. We knew to keep it peacefully for the most part. But then you had people like, I forget their names at the exact moment, but there were a couple different groups of Indians that were just like, nah, man, that shit. But even in, I mean, the Comanches. Yeah, the Comanches were fucking very aggressive. And when they actually saw tribes getting attacked, the chief and them were just like, basically told their women and children, like, listen, they're going to do these things to you, and you're just going to fucking die anyways, so everyone's going to be a fighter. So it's like, yeah, look, kids on horses and shit, fucking become a fighter, because they knew no one would be spared. They viewed the Indians as vile, disgusting animals, basically. Filthy, filthy tribes of subhuman. And really, it just boils down to, like, geographic, education, and what events in your life that surrounded you, will, shape and form you. And that's it. That's the bottom line. That's it. Nowadays, I'll tell you what fucking disturbs me.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for the tribe's history, wouldn't went down like it did.
Oh, yeah. And I think the worst thing about the whole history thing that we're, like, touching on is that, like, we were taught some history, but we were taught what pieces they wanted. Like, there's a lot that's true, but there's a lot that's been omitted. And the biggest thing was the omittance. And to find out that the press companies, the books that we read growing up, like my group and people before me, literally were being fed by the machine, because the company that owns the books goes back to, like, one of the big companies, like, like Bill Gates, George Soros. Like, I don't remember the name of the company.
They wanted us to know.
Something like Macmillan Press or some shit like that, but when you look at who owned them, you're just like, oh my fucking God, are you serious? Yep, they showed us what they want us to know. And there's a reason behind that, because obviously you want to give enough education where you have a certain amount of workforce that can do a certain amount of things. But at the end of the day, most, if not everybody, needs to be in a dumbed down position. So I believe that's where a lot of the other, what I would like to call side ops come in. And you basically look at, like, the whole entire, like, area, like, the landscape of life or current life. Like, you look at the way we're growing up, right? If you were to analyze every 10 years and split it into halves, right? Every time you analyzed it, right? And you started right at the 90s, right? You're going to see the most interesting changes you've ever seen. Like, take that bitch, map it out, 90 to 2000, all right? In the 90s, you had pop icons getting shot, accused of this, doing that, all types of shit happened, people fucking dying in planes, all types of shit. Enough shit to where if you wrote it all down and you actually looked at every single story that happened from then, you'd start to be like, oh, fuck, that was a busy year.
Yeah, I watch videos and every 10 years it changes, but it all loops back to each other.
Hell yeah. Like 10 years ago, fucking, when everybody was like talking shit to Ye, and I don't even care about him, dude. Like, I think he's a stupid ass. But I think it was crazy that he decided to stop his concert, and he decided to start telling y'all that basically Hillary's lying to y'all, and he starts going in on a tangent. But what people fail to realize, and what he fails to realize, is that it was brave to do, but it was dumb as hell, because I think she knew that he was being targeted, and he knew he was being controlled, but they were doing it through psychopharmacopoeia. And dude, that's some fucking advanced shit. Like, I be studying plants and shit too, but these people that operate towards the top.
You knew that, but it's all from a far distance.
Yeah, dude, like, for an example, I knew about scopolamine, or is basically scalopamine, or however you want to pronounce it. Scopolamine, though, comes from, like, a flower plant, and it basically has the most odd effects. It like, when ingested as a human, it takes the brain and turns it into, like, zombie state. And most of the time when users get a high dose of it, they become lethargic and somewhat sleepy. But the weirdest thing is they do become under what we call the hypnotic state, where they are impressionable and they're able to be suggestionable as well. So they'll be like, hey, sit over here, cross your legs. Even small, willful commands and such, they'll be willful to. So therefore, it's an interesting drug when you study it, because it knocks out the neuromotor effects, but doesn't knock them completely out, but knocks them out to a point to where you're moving as slow as like an old 60s zombie, 1960s type zombie. And what was even more interesting was, like, when the Epstein files was released, I've been doing deep dives into it because I've been setting up little videos that I'm going to be releasing on the K2 Media network. And I was able to find, like, a story.
You're saying that, look at all the cloning they're doing to people, to like Jim Carrey kept saying this world controls you and ain't real.
Well, I wouldn't look too, like, deep into, like, some like certain shit. Like, if they're cloning people, man, like, I want you to understand that I don't think it's on the level that people think. Like, if they're cloning people, there's no way to speed age, and just like with Jim Carrey, it's hard for people to believe he looks this way. Let's just be real. You're gonna hear and you'll be like, damn, how did he know? In about 10 years, you're gonna hear that he decided to probably get Botox surgery. I don't know why Jim did it, but I can tell you that that's definitely Jim, and this is definitely surgery. But his excuse and all that, and the way he was acting, I don't know. It could be more to it. But with everything going on, I think that would be more of a distraction, because the media industry is interesting, but they're instinctive. They're, most of them, not all. There's probably, I'm mapping it out right now, actually. Like, it'll probably take me all year to map it, but I would say 75% is my number. That's what I'm going to guess. I don't know yet, but, you start mapping up some of the high people, like, way up there. Like, for an example, like Beyonce. I don't know how many followers she's lost, but it's over 1 million, and it could be, like, somewhere near 10 million. I don't want to lie, but it's up there.
Yeah, people try to cause distractions to hide what's going on in today's world.
Yeah. I think it's interesting, though, when you start to have certain people start to catch on. Like, I know for a 1,000% fact that they want the community and the people to leave the entire Epstein files alone. But there's a few problems that they didn't expect, and one was for the DOJ to make redaction mistakes. 2, they did not expect for people to continually talk about it almost 7 years later. However, now we've only released those files since February, a couple months now, like a month or 2, 3, something like that. I would even go on a limb to say that we're not even through looking at all of it, but we're starting to pretty much get through the bulk of it. I would say within 6 months, all the files will have at least been gone through by most, like, sleuthers, the people that stay up day and night and study. But within a year, we'll have a lot more independent people, other verified media sourcing, and they'll start to have it unraveled. My thing
Oh
is
yeah,
I'm
most
waiting
definitely.
for more of like more releases, because the DOJ just released something maybe about 2 weeks ago, and it enabled me to make my newest video, which will be the video that I'm trying to release tonight, but I'm nervous about like just fucking do it, you know. But basically the video is really neat. Matter of fact, I just want to I can bounce it off you. All right, so everybody's going to be into the through the 3.5 million league, right? So I figured that why not get into it, but I started scanning and seeing what was popular in that topic as far as what people were talking about, and mostly the narrative fits around you know, I'll let you tell me the narrative, basically, but it's basically about two lazy guards, and then Epstein killed himself, and there's details in between, yada, yada, yada. What would you say would the narrative be? Because I'm then going to kind of go off of the narrative and then, like, explain what the video is about. And it's just going to be like a 3-minute short, so it's not like some insane. I wish it turned daylight. Shit sucks. Totally, dude. Party like a rock. Party like a rock star. Party like a rock. Totally, dude. Totally, dude. Oh, I got the night vision scope on this thing. I forgot about that.
So.
He said, so. Yeah. He's like, you gonna make just you don't have to type up like a whole paragraph. I know you ain't trying to do that on your phone. Hell, if you got to, you can use your damn speaker function. I know how to.
What is it about before I try to think of the narrative?
Oh, the narrative on what happened to Epstein in jail when he killed himself. Party like a rock star, party like a rock star, party like a rock star. I mean, that's part of the narrative too. That obviously that he killed himself, but I don't want to put any words in anybody's mouth. So I want to see what you remember. And if you don't, if you don't, you know what I'm saying. If you didn't hear nothing, you didn't hear nothing. You might not even paid attention, you know. But also, people be getting their news from fucking TikTok, where I seen videos talking about there was files talking about raping babies 274 times with the umbilical cord is still attached. That shit ain't in the files. What are you talking about, man? Can't believe it. I mean, there's some heinous shit in those files. I'm not defending it, but there wasn't none of that in there. I can see that. Not that I found. I'd pay somebody to show me that shit. That shit would have been went viral. Totally, dude. Party like a rock. Party like a rock star. That'd be crazy if I got hit for a fucking damn copyright fucking for singing. They'd be like, yeah, we heard you singing Party Like a Rock Star. I'm like, what the fuck? You can't even sing? I get devious on them. I'd start fucking making up my own songs, but I make them sound like the other ones. And then I fucking have an intent to sue right after they took my video. I'll be like, I'm suing y'all motherfucker for 58 cents. The cost of the production of my work. Totally agreed. Party like a rock. Party like a rock. Party like a gay boy. Party like a gay boy. Can't see nothing. Party lag up. Party lag up. Party lag up. Totally do. I can't even see.
Honestly, I would say he wasn't the best man if he did have charges on sexual assault and he did have another charge on messing with a minor.
Yeah, so the charges were federal, right? And basically, yeah, he went to jail. But the narrative is what I was saying was what was, when it happened, basically what was you heard or told. But 7 years ago, you'd have been fucking a down. You'd have been way younger. You probably didn't even fucking really give a fuck. Which I didn't care either. But what was standing out to me was everything that was tied to the sumbitch. Like, I knew that dude was important, but he's important for a whole different reason. Like, already within a week of, well, it's been about 2 weeks now, but I've been studying a lot of these files, and since I'm studying the files, I'm also taking like any of the court orders and the different like depositions.
I didn't really hear much about him, but he was tied to everything like Trump and everything.
Okay, so yeah, so what you have is basically what he does is, doesn't matter who, if you're someone who has government ties, if you had rich, famous, or if you were of the high society such as king, queen, royalty, blood, and intelligence apparatus, government agents, and those types of people, he made sure what he did was create a relationship with these people. No matter what type of relationship it was, he would create one. And with certain people, and I obviously don't know everything, because if I did, I'd be interviewed and people be paying me to tell everything. But I know enough to tell you that he was trained by Mossad and probably the CIA, and more than likely by British intelligence as well. He very well may have been involved more deeply than I know, but what that gives him is a unique set of abilities, and a lot of these are psychological and mind, so it can kind of give you the whole I'll light your ass up, you come in here. Once he would get with the people, though, certain people, depending on how important it was, obviously, like the president, he would tie up with, obviously, whatever your weakness was. And when you look at it statistically, the weakest for most men of power is going to be pussy. But they can get pussy, so what they're looking for is something taboo usually. And these disgusting ass people, I guess, like virgins, but they don't, I don't even, more than virgins, they like fucking, like, young people, okay? And on top of that, I also think that there may have been some type of, like, trafficking, yes, but I don't know what it is exactly yet, so I'm not gonna speculate, but I will say that it's fucking something, and I think it's pretty heinous. I imagine there's murder for hire, but not like in the sense of like for money. It would be more so, it would probably be more like murder for quiet. instead of murder for hire. But you're not gonna hear all this from the fucking media. I mean, I've figured most of this out myself. I mean, I had to go all the way back to 1960s to figure out different people so I could kind of figure out his map connections. And basically, like, Ghislaine, everybody, you know, views him as like them kind of together, but all she was like a handler. They were like either that or they were a power duo, but I think she was there to try to like help him infiltrate. I already know she was definitely there to help him infiltrate Europe because he had ties, but not specifically in Britain, I believe. But then again, I don't know. The way I map it out, I think she introduced him to the royals and shit like that. But it don't really matter because by the damn end of the 90s, he had infiltrated pretty deeply. And by 2000s, he kept working and working. And what's interesting is we've got about 30-something% of the emails, leaving about 65 to 70% still redacted and not released. And they fucking made a law that said they had to be released. My question is why the fuck can I not break the law if they're allowed to break the law? I mean, literally nothing's happening. I feel like if you're not going to release the information, you need to pay the American people because you violated some kind of fine, you know, like, fuck that. We're going to get rich off you lies. Every time they start lying to the American people, you got to start fucking paying us, bro. Start fucking digging into y'all's fucking pockets, bro. And I ain't talking about no fucking dollar, neither. You're going to start fucking like, okay, you got you got trillions, huh? You don't think it's going to hurt you? All right, you got now 9 trillion. We're going to take fucking 5 trillion from you. We're going to fucking split it up. And if you don't like it, that's fine. It is a right. It's your right. And that means we offered you a way out. Now you got to go to jail. If you keep your money, that's fucking fine. You keep your goddamn money. You're going to jail, motherfucker. And you're going for all the crimes that we can prove. So if it's fucking, 60 fucking 100 years, then it's 60 fucking 100 years. I'm sorry. And I'm not saying you can buy yourself out of certain shit. What I'm saying is they're going to pay their way out anyway. So we might as well collect and keep going. But we also could do it in a way where if we find out that it's particularly heinous.
Someone like us they want to throw under the jailhouse.
Oh yeah, don't pay your taxes and they'll try to come after you. And then they'll try to levy your fucking garnishments. And if you figure a way to kind of keep fucking them, they'll put your ass in jail. So... That dude ran by earlier. That scared the hell out of me. I got quiet. I didn't say nothing. So here's the video.
But we can't fuck them is how they look at it.
Well, yeah, that's a good way. I tell you what, Dave Chappelle said it perfectly. He was like, they hate it because the women hate it because of how it fucks, and I hate it because it's something else. And I can't even remember now, but it was good. So say, can you see? All right. So basically, what happened was. Alright, I'm getting some notes because this shit is crazy.
Is that your character now?
That's both of us. That's both of us. I'm being a damn goofy. That is funny though. I ain't gonna lie. All right, bro. So what happened? I know you was young, so I'm gonna put you on game, and then I'll send you the link once the video's made, so you can kind of see how I put it together. It'll be the first ever KVK Media release. Hopefully it'll go well, but we'll see. So basically, we know who it is. When I refer to EP, that just for the chat, that refers to Epstein. So if you're watching this not live and later on, and you're just kind of watching this, and you're like, "What the fuck is he even talking about?" That's Epstein. But I call him EP because I don't even like saying this dude's name. And I usually call it the EP files. That way you can fucking shorten things up. Okay, so back in we know he's been arrested once already, but I'm going to be referring to his first arrest just briefly. So his first arrest was way back when, and he served a little bit of time, and then he was able to get in front of the judge. And what's interesting is Tom Acosta, who was the prosecutor at the time, who is now in our government right now, who basically was told that he belongs to intelligence, don't touch him. That's my word. That's his words, not mine. So then we take it, fast forward. Yeah, way back then. Yep. And then we fast forward. He's like, or not yet. He serves his sentence for a couple of days or whatever, gets there, talks to the judges. All of a sudden, he's getting a sweetheart deal from Jim Acosta. He takes the sweetheart deal. He's going to be in and out or whatever. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was really good. It's like under something like a year or something, but whatever. Anyways, what was crazy is he was immediately out of the federal care and he went to a federal white-collar prison, which is a private prison. And in this private prison, he was able to leave for work detail every day from like 8 to 8 p.m. or something, 8 a.m. I don't know exactly what it was, but it was a really good deal. And then when he came back, he was allowed to have visitors because he was allowed to have clients. He had internet access. From what it sounded like, is he was on an ankle monitor at the jail's private facility. Anyways, nobody really knew because back then they could keep things a lot more secret. Now, fast forward, he does his time. A bunch of time passes. We fast forward. We're talking a bunch of time, bro, like a whole decade, right? It's fucking July 6th, and it's 2019, bro. But EP's in a plane, and he's landing at Teterboro Airport. The monster has touched down, bro, and the feds is waiting on his ass. And in between those times, he had like court cases and shit where he had like been accused and he was like settled out of court and shit. But this is the one that was like tied in to pretty much was going to guarantee that he was going to get locked the fuck up for good. But nobody knew at this time, you know what I'm saying, like if he was going to be locked up for good or not. But he was being arrested, and that was, good enough at that point. So, the wheels of justice start turning. But what if I told you what happened that night, and from that day that he was locked up, from the moment from the Teterboro Airport, there was some type of involvement, and in my belief, before that as well, because I'm not going to go into detail, but I would have included this, but it would just make video way too long. But there's basically proof that there was money moved around and things. Certain people went to his house while he was out, out in Europe or wherever, and data was taken from certain areas, like media data, like big ass servers full of information. Okay, so let's move on. Now he's gotten to jail. Now he's going to jail this time for the second time. And we're just waiting on morning, by the way, as far as the gaming's concerned. So I know y'all are waiting on the gaming. It's going to be morning soon. So as he's in jail for a second time, they decide to house his ass in the one place in the entire MCC where he's locked up is a blind spot to the camera. I'm going to go to the other one. Anyways. Maybe it's not a, maybe they didn't put it there. Who knows? But he gets a cell at the very back. And all of a sudden, he was able to basically, I don't remember exactly everything. I got to look into it, but he was placed on suicide watch. And basically what happened was there was a dude that was in jail with them, right? And this was some dude that was in there for like a triple homicide. He was like a fucking previous cop. All right, we'll holler at you, brother. I'm about to shoot these bastards. They're just so annoying. I don't have a flashlight. Is that a smoke?
Art, I'm back.
Welcome back, sir. Oh, it still ain't light out. Oh, okay, so I'll get back to the boring story. Alright, so now he's in jail at this point, and the first incident happens where he's in there and he, like, they say he commits suicide. So then they look into it and they find like a piece of orange strip, like a torn piece of clothing in his cell. I don't know if you've ever been to prison before, or if you know how prisons, or if you know how, like, high level, like a felony, like an actual, like a, you know, maximum security prison works, but, you know, it basically put him on suicide watch because he tried to commit suicide. But when they interviewed him, he said he didn't really remember, but he told his attorney and that he was attacked by the Truly Giulioli, and the Trulioli guy, when you look at his past, he was in jail for murdering 3 people with an execution shot to the back of their heads because they had robbed him. He was a cop, and they, like, kicked in his door and robbed his house. So he went to their house and he shot them all in the back of the head. So his name, which one? The cop that was housed with EP. And he was like this big, and he was like a big steroid user and shit. And EP said that EP told his attorney that that dude attacked him. Okay, and the attorney then kind of told the police or the guards up there, like, hey, he said that he was attacked. So then they re-interviewed him, and he's like, nah, I mean, I don't really know what happened. I'm gonna be honest with you. He said, I heard somebody snoring when I woke up. He said, I looked around and I realized, like, or no, he said, I heard someone snoring when I woke up. As I tried to figure out where the snoring was coming from, I realized it was me. I was on the floor and I had no idea what had happened. His roommate, he said, where's your roommate? When the interviewer asked him where his roommate was, he says, I'm not sure, but I think he was in bed. I don't remember much because I had passed out. And they were like, okay. So he basically wrote on the jail staff wrote on the paper that he did indeed try to commit suicide with a orange tethered piece of cloth. So at that point, of course, when it happened, they thought he was dead or whatever, so they grabbed him and they rushed him out and, did all the different things, and then they were like, he wasn't, and then he wasn't dead, so then he came back from the, nursery and infirmary, and he got interviewed, and they took pictures, and then, of course, we got to see those pictures. So moving on, he was put back in jail, but at that point, he served a few days with no problem. Now, when you're in that suicide watch, they give you like a gown that you can't rip, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if you've ever seen it before or not. Now, there's something that you need to key in on that whole entire section, the first section of this story. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but if you can catch it, you're very, very good, because they pulled this shit on the entire United States, and only a few people caught on. Now, what I think that was, I think it was practice, but you'll see why. But either way, either A, there's A, B, or C, and I pick E. But either way, moving on to the second part, they then, like, I don't know if it was a week later or what, but it was like 2 weeks later. So it was like July, June, July. Yeah, it was somewhere right around there. Now, the night of the incident, there were 2 guards there, right? They falsified records first and said that they did rounds. But when they interviewed them, they found out that they stopped doing their rounds at 10 a.m. They also told, the inmates overheard them talking, and the girl said, "We're not doing any rounds tonight." And then she proceeded to walk over and cut on an industrial-sized fan. Once she did that, they went into what they call the main office, and the main office is where you got all your computers and where the guards kind of hang out. And the guards are required to do checkups like every 15, 30 minutes on, shifts, basically alternating. All this information is told to us, within the timeline of it happening, right? Then, as you go on, you find out a lot of other stuff. As time goes on, it is released that the files that the jail set, like, there's all cameras in there, right? So thank God there's cameras, because they can see everything. So they go back to, obviously to look at the camera to see if the cop, when he was in jail for the first suicide. So his first suicide attempt was checked by the cameras, but then they fucking realized that the camera wasn't working. So when you go fast forward to the second attempt suicide, now his camera stopped working again. Okay? But I have a theory behind why that camera ain't working, but I'm not going to say anything because I'm just telling you what the facts.
I just hear screaming in the background of the game.
It's dark out and I'm waiting for it to turn daylight, and the zombies are all outside screaming, having a good time. They're partying. There's probably about 20 of them out there. So then we move on to the second part. Then this dude basically attempts suicide again and supposedly succeeds. And all this shit starts happening when they start, like, figuring it out. And, of course, nothing ever comes out during the original interviews. But they look at their, like, history of searches, and then, like, at, like, 436, she's searching for a certain thing, right? And it's something like USA Jobs. She searched for, like, latest on Epstein in jail. She was searching for, like, different shit, like Kenyatta's Revenge, which is some kind of book. Just a bunch of weird shit they were searching for. But the problem was in the logs, I noticed something. I was like, well, it says right here at like 5:42 she was searching for something. So the problem I had was that in the timestamp of the video, because the video doesn't work facing a cell, I already told you that. But the outside video does work, and it says that she was seen at a certain time. So how the fuck was she on the internet and on video camera? One of the damn timestamps has got to be off, and it's got to be the damn video camera, because the video camera, I think, was on some type of like loop or something. Maybe they have some malware, I don't know. So I mean, we're talking about one of the biggest situations ever, if it's true. So then a random orange figure appears on the camera downstairs or upstairs or going into the stairs or some shit. They're pushing a linen basket. They're dressed in orange. And then, like, during the testimony interview, both guards swear they didn't deliver any linens. They don't know anything about no linens. Period. You can see somebody enter, but never exit. On the paper, it says 72 plus 1, which was a paper error. And then later on, I think about 7 years later, just like the other day, like last week or so, there was now somebody that they had to admit that there was a third guard. He came in at 10 p.m. and he clocked out at 12 a.m. And he was a supervisor, and that supervisor was the one who did the error on the paper. And he said that he did it as a mistake, but don't remember doing it. Now, how the fuck that's a mistake if you don't remember it? But he said he couldn't recall why he did it, and that he wanted to sign off all of it. So he signed off on it. When the FBI interviewed people, the people like in the jail, there was one instance where somebody that wasn't even a part of the area said that there were people outside shredding documents. All right. You know, he said he didn't know what the documents were, but there were a lot of it. And something about shred that box too was one of the quotes, and this, that, and the third. And it doesn't necessarily tie, but I mean, how many times do you fucking shred documents out of jail, you know what I'm saying? And why would there even be documents like that and that many? I mean, it just sounds weird. And that may have nothing to do with any of that. All right, but they go in there and they perform CPR, and they say he's dead. They say he's dead, right? And he's been dead since like 5 o'clock or whatever. But they perform CPR on him, which makes no fucking sense to me. And then they perform even more CPR on him. But then they put him in the car and they're screaming, Epstein, don't die on me, and all this shit. And then supposedly later on, a couple people in the cell block, right, that they heard the jail and the guards talking about, well, you killed that man. And the girl says, if I killed him, my officer's going to have an alibi. So, you know, all this shit to me sounds just kind of honestly like you're making it up as you go. But this was all sworn testimony. Here's what you don't know. So they didn't tell us any of this shit. Like, so the third guard, that wasn't told to us till 7 years later. Also, I traced some other things. I figured this shit out by myself. He had a 20-minute phone call. Now, all phone calls are recorded, so we can go back and listen to it, right? Wrong. He was able to get out of his cell the night he died, and he was able to tell the nurses and the infirmaries that he needed to talk to his mother. Now, here's the problem with that, guys. His mother's fucking dead. So he made a 20-minute private phone call on an unrecorded line in a federal goddamn prison to an unknown motherfucker. Then moves his money around, puts it in a 1953 trust across overseas, signs off his will and testament all to go to fucking Christina Shuliak, and then all this shit happens. He dies or whatever. The guy that signed off his papers, right, that said, yep, this guy's dead, here's his official blood, you know, does blood draw and all this shit, and he signs the documents that say he's dead. His name is Dr. Epstein. Now, that ain't the weird part. Yeah, it's weird that his name's Epstein, but his name's Jay, not Jeff. His name's Jay Epstein. If you look him up, he's one of the biggest, like, bigwigs. He's, like, leading all types of shit in the FDA back in the day. So my thought process goes automatically somewhere else, but I'm not allowed to sit here and speculate. I'm just telling you the facts. One interesting fact that I found that no one else is talking about is he signed that death certificate, correct? And he's the one that had the last touch on him. And if you know something, you look through like his expenses in the files, you can find where they bought ambulances and they bought all the grade A tier that you would need to go inside an ambulance and all this weird shit. And then this dude receives $160 million and a payment system right when all this is happening, either before or in the middle or after. I don't remember exactly when, but he got it. Then he did some suspicious shit where like he took it and funneled it into his private account or something of that nature. Y'all can look into that, you goddamn selves. I don't care. But he shortly retires directly after all this happens. Now, there's more, but that's just the gist of, so I don't have to be here for 48 hours. Or, yeah, it would honestly take me 20 minutes to tell you everything. But that's the K2 KVK video. And all that was fucking truth. None of that was me making shit up. Now, here is what I am making up. This part is not in, here's what I think happened. I think he had enough networks to where he basically, I already told you that he's an intelligence officer, right? He's got 3 decades worth of dirt on President Clinton's. I'm talking about President Obama. I'm talking about, it don't matter who, Trump, all of them. And there's some funny shit with Trump too, but like, yeah, everyone was talking about the bad part, but what I want to know is what FBI work he was doing, because I believe he might have been with the FBI for over 3 to 5 years, working with them. but they won't release certain files. And I believe it's because they were partying back in the day together, right? And I think what happened was yeah, they like young women or whatever, but I think Trump found out that he like little girls. Like, I ain't talking about no young, like, I'm talking about little girls, like pedophile, like PDF file. Now, who knows? What they both could be. I don't know. I don't give a fuck because I don't do that type of shit, and anybody who does it should be ashamed of this. You know, I just don't understand how you could even think like that. Like, the precious little babies and shit. Like, man, I go to jail for the rest of my life to fuck a pedophile up, bro. That shit's just so stupid, bro. Anyway, I don't have proof that he was that, but then again, I do when you look at, you know, him fucking 14-year-olds as a fucking 50-year-old man or 40-year-old man, whatever. The problem I have is everything that they told us didn't line up. And that somebody in the FBI, the only reason I'm able to know all this is somebody's been leaving crumbs. And it's like basically smart people have like picked up on it. I've only heard a few videos that picked up on certain facts. No one has put them all together like I have. Like, I haven't heard not a single person mention Dr. Epstein. Not a single fucking person. But it could be that the internet is being swept. So, like, Dr. Epstein, I ain't seen a single TikTok about that shit.
Tons of sus conversations between Epstein and Trump.
Definitely, yep. And there's more to be had, but I think that the concentration level is way too high on one figure of, you know, money. Sure, there's something there, but there's also something else there. And if we've got 30% of the information, could y'all imagine what the truth was? So, like, I started looking back at, Michael Jackson's case, and it made me realize, like, Michael Jackson, you know, just, you know, was a weird guy, but, man, going back and looking at, I actually went back and looked at dude's interviews, like, because when I was younger, man, I was like, oh, he's a PDF, he's a PDF file, but, damn, you know, he took on the Sony Direct, is it, right? And, like, he basically was like, you know, they're treating us like dogs, and then all of a sudden, all this shit comes out. You start to do the homework on the people that accused him, and you start to realize, holy fuck, that was fucking engineered. The shit, like, with Epstein, he got so many people involved that I don't think that they're going to release it, the rest of it, because it would tear down the rest of the world. That's how bad it is. Somehow, the Jewish intelligence and the CIA intelligence and whoever else is involved have created, I want to say there's a new agency, like a worldwide agency we don't know the name of. I know that sounds silly, but here's what I think happened. I think they extracted him. Most people think that he committed suicide. Okay, that's the narrative. Most people, the other side, they believe that he was assassinated, which that does make sense more so than, you know, suicide. Now, here's the parts that aren't explained to you. So, all right, so if he's in the section he's in, he can't get orange clothing, and I'll explain to you guys why. Basically, they don't play about security. It don't matter who you are. You're not getting into a fucking federal prison. I challenge you to try. Like, that would be a great YouTuber challenge. Try to go get your ass into a federal prison and see if you succeed. It's not going to happen. Now, what I think happened was, I wouldn't know exactly, but some kind of deal was made. There was enough network and connection to make sure that this plan went off without a hitch. So either A, he was assassinated, or what I believe, B, he was extracted. But to believe either or, both, like, to believe mine, it takes so much more, like, effort.
Lots of money from unknown sources, and on top of that, he had a very tight ties with Israel and the U.S. government, so he.
Oh yeah, dude. When you have Mossad training this dude, yeah, that's tight as can be, man. And he straight up was all involved with it. But what bothers me is, and I ain't done studying it, but when you look deep as shit, like in the files, and he starts going into like eugenics, and you look into like Zorro Ranch, and basically like how it was like 3 stories deep, and it had all this equipment in it for, you know, I guess he was going to be seeding or doing whatever. I don't know. I didn't go there. I don't know. But And like, I don't even know if they're going to tell us. You know how they're searching for bodies out there? I don't know if they'll tell us exactly everything. Like, I'm starting to notice that some of this, like, for an example, when they were talking about if my officer did it, they're going to have an alibi. I felt like you wouldn't do that. You would not yell in a place where people can hear it unless you wanted them to hear it. Like, you'd be in the break, like, you'd be in the computer room with the door shut, like, oh my God, they're out there talking about this shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I believe what happened was the first suicide attempt was a dry run, right? They needed to see where he went to, how this system was, and it had to be real. So maybe Targaloni was in on it too, I don't know. But he had to get beat up, and it had to be real because he had to be taken out. If you look at his jail items, FBI jail items, right? And you review all of them, right? All of them. Review his legal pads. His legal pads, like, have all these notes on it. Interpol, Red Exchange, but they're writing in, like, broken-ass English and shit, like. But when I do the video, I'll put it there. But any of this stuff that I'm talking about is obviously on the internet. You can look it up. I don't want people to, like, tune in and think I'm some type of crazy dude because this shit's, like, it's all real. But anyways, there was even impressions of, like, code words, and then in the intelligence agency, from what I could pull up, there was something called a lupinol or a lopinol, but the basic something to like a heart medication, but in some certain secret text, it basically stands for a malware that loops. It's a looping malware, and I started thinking, what if that is what they were talking about, a lupinol, like doing a lupinol on the camera system? Like, so that's where I kind of got the idea about looping, because that's how you would want to do it. You wouldn't want to take the camera system down all the way, you know what I mean? Because if it's two camera systems down, then that looks way too suspicious. And then they wanted to test the camera system, the one that directly faces them. They knocked that one completely out both times. The secondary camera, they put it on a loop, but that's just my beliefs. But then the second time when he actually, did it, everything was in place. That's why he had to make the phone call. He had to have everything. I think he bought, like, it cost him 150 billion, I believe. That's a lot of money, y'all. And like, that ties into the Senate. They're wanting to see what that 1.5 billion, got spent, or what it's tied to. Before, like, obviously, but then you had the UF Lafayette district kind of block it, Clay, and then, like, Clay took a picture of him being the only vote to block to look. But these all kind of seem like a signal, basically, like, yeah, I got y'all's back. But like they say, prove it. But if they would listen to the law like they supposed to and release everything, because they promised they was going to release everything, but they didn't do it. It's light. We can finally leave. Thank God. All right. Alright, we gotta do some work. Got too much shit on me. Alright, we gotta find like a tent kit. Thought that was a dude. I was finna blast on his ass. Go ahead and be dumb if you want. You get smoked. Get smoked, pussy. Blew his head off. Or a bike. The hell was that?
Cool stream, hope you're doing well. Bye bye, maybe I'll see you again one day.
Hell yeah, Brad. Thank you for stopping by, man. I hope you have a great Thursday night, man. Or Thursday, whatever it is, wherever you are. Maybe not, maybe so. Have a great one, bro. Appreciate it. What are you doing? Oh, shit. Oh, don't you hit me. Oh, he got me, too. Little strike on the arm. All right. All right, let's take this off. I mean, that's better.
Thumbs up.
I don't know. I might have screwed up there big time. Wait. Would you stop? Oh my God. I'm going to get shot just standing here trying to look at you, stupid. Are you dumb? There we go. Whoa. Everybody just got a refund for High Guard. I didn't buy that game. I knew better. That's fucking hilarious. I just got a notification from PlayStation telling me that my refund for High Guard went offline. Oh my God.
That really is.
Alright. I ain't gonna lie. Somebody lives over here, but I don't know if they still here or not because I gotta damn drop some of this fucking weight, man. I cannot be this slow. It's not acceptable. We need, get thumping in my Earth Fork 1, big boy. Give me 7 pairs, big boy. So we gotta sell that at the mysterious satchel. What does it do? So basically I need to go towards the, you know what sucks is I don't have a fucking bike. Anyways. Right over here. Wait a minute. I forget. I thought I marked this. I did mark it, and it didn't save. That's some weak ass shit. Alright, so I believe it was like hop skip either up over here in the woods or maybe even further. Can't exactly remember. I believe it was deeper. It may have been deeper. Johnny Deeper. Johnny be bad, Mobo. Okay, so I think he's over here. If he's still here. There is a base that somebody put up in the weirdest, like, spot. We're gonna take a Tito time before we go. Hey, Googs. Where's the Googs at? Alright. Let's go ahead and load up. Tito time is now in effect. Quick countdown. 3, 2, and 1. Alright. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Alright. Y'all see what I see? Do you see what I see? So... he just, I mean, here's my thing. He's moved it. There's his bike. He had a damn house the other day. I don't know where it went. The car's still there. I need his bike, to be honest with you. I don't see it. Jesus Christ. Is this, are you kidding me?
Let me jump on the bike.
Bro, how long? Oh my god, this is taking way too long. Beeping just over and over. If he's around, he's gonna hear it.
An alarm.
It doesn't use logic. Yeah, it's got an alarm. It's beeping over and over. Oh god, Jesus, stop. Oh god.
Annoying, kind of clock alarm. That's the bike making that noise?
Yeah, that's the bike, yep. Okay, you can stop now. Okay. I just wanted to get away from that area, but you can stop now. Anytime. Jesus. Are you still fucking... No. Stop it. Bro. Hey, bro, get your goddamn it. Stay right fucking there. Don't you fucking move. Son of a bitch. So basically, I did all that for nothing. That's fucking stupid, man. Okay, so basically... So did the lockpick not work? I'm mad as hell now. And you even lockpick cars? See, I don't even know how this shit works. So that's probably what happened to this base, because there was a base over here that was like... basically where the truck was parked, there was a base. But I'm guessing that, like, it's old and it's getting deleted. Which I like that feature because, see, in DayZ there's no deletable feature there. It just stays there until the server reset. With this, if you don't interact, like, if you don't, like, interact with it within, like, a 5-day period, it's gone. She gone. I wanted to check the trunk on it, but... there ain't no trunk. The fuck? It's out of gas. Pinion deletion. So you can lockpick it, but it probably ain't gonna work, so I ain't fucking with it. If I find a vehicle key, I'll be able to... Alright, fuck it. We'll go over here. We'll loot this area. Well, I mean, it's, to me, nobody ever comes over here for some weird reason. Probably because it's fucking Gorka. Quit hating on Gorka. Get fucking bent, bitch. You just hide in here like this. And then you pop out. So you got this heart to look out of. Just got that sight. I'm just playing with y'all. Got it, man. That thing got me high. do you mean there's no loot? We need keys, bitch. Bitch. Gotta be tell you something, got to be tell me something, wanna do me bumping, got to be doing something, definitely bumping, screw it if you want, bitch. Alright, here we go. What the fuck? It's the Hispanic panic, baby, yeah. Are you kidding me? Let's go. Shouldn't even fit on my weapon. Let's go. Should look goofy as fuck. I don't give a fuck. It works. It's the one. The fuck was it all going? Hello? That just confused the fuck out of me. I was about to say. Oh, I don't want to do that. Okay. that. organized and with more actual dates. So, like, let's work on this, do it exactly like this. Let's approach this from a mathematical standpoint. No more information than what happened to that current time. In other words, what we're going to do is we're going to set up a date and a time. We're going to have like a introduction, kind of like where it kind of goes into it, like have a gigantic clock flashing through time with the basic like countdown show 24 that noise. Then we're going to move forward with whatever else media that we may want to input, and for each and every book we will need to have a inserted book media for that. And this definitely applies when speaking about any factual EFT. file points. Or have those in the background, or at least so we'll start with the lock up. First incident. Start to explain any parameters that may need explaining between the pieces of information, explanation. You know who I am, boy. Yes. Yes. Mommy. 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 Motherfucker. A deployed radio. Or so Titan in West Virginia can come out and continually have supply. I mean, to continue to supply California, but not only that, back it up to push into the deployed area. So they deployed a radio area over there to have a constant back and forth. It looks as if the takeover of Atlas, which was the beginning, I would imagine. So let's see. All right, so this is the rally point. It's maxed out at the point over right now. From that point, this is the small fuel supply crossroads. Industrial Zone, Maryland. Birch Corner. So basically from Birch Corner, the main road is cut off by Princeton. Princeton in Alaska, basically keeping in a nice horseshoe effect here right now. We've got the boys coming in. They busted in through Omaha and Rhode Island. These two areas right here are marked off well. Recently, must be all right. So Rhode Island doesn't have anything but the base. So we got some gas. Fuck you, bitch. The Battle of Naboge. So basically, once we come back in tonight, we will deploy in and we will attack and level up because we are now a rookie in this. They're going to be, so far from what I see, okay, so they're wanting to go to the farm. All right, let's look at these places. All right, so they've got a roadblock out here, Wolf River, Las Vegas. You got Comment, which is basically power station that controls this town. We got Virginia Outpost, dirt road area that leads into the main area of the other dirt road intersections. The enemy still owns Oakwood Strong Point and is being backed constantly by Titan. Titan's just a small military outpost, but combined with West Virginia, logistical powerhouse. The battle for California. It doesn't look like much of a little area, so we'll probably be able to deploy out between the deployed radio, Virginia, and Georgia push. We should be able to knock out that closest one, which is Oklahoma. Really and truly needs to be knocked out. So I would say that this would be the most important. Because by doing that, yeah, you're going to knock out the capabilities to own out the road, and they're only going to have this to be able to supply, motherfucker.